Hello everyone and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N Network and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 161 on the N.A.R.C.N Network, and episode 161, the topic thereof is bipolar disorder in the Narcissistic Personality Disorder person. So today we'll basically be addressing when a narcissistic personality disorder person actually has associated bipolar disorder along with them, and what that basically means and how it affects that N.P.D person. So, borderline disorder or bipolar disorder, the two associated thereof, in a mixed narcissistic personality disorder person, it's a reach out from that narcissist for assistance from outside persons for balance and regulation of the self, and to regulate and stabilize that bipolar disorder person's fantasy state, or that narcissistic personality disorder person's fantasy state. B.P.Ds and N.P.Ds live in a kind of fantasy state. We have talked about this on previous N.A.R.C.N Network episodes before. If you look on my channel, you'll be able to find some stuff about that on the N.A.R.C.N Network that I posted prior to this video. This fantasy state helps those individuals escape from their own relative states of being, where their minds are often chaotic and encompassed with negative thought processes. This is a state both N.P.Ds and B.P.Ds suffer from on an almost constant basis. N.P.Ds and B.P.Ds seem to not be able to regulate or find stability within themselves, but not for lack of actually trying. They often seek this balance but are unable to achieve this because of several related issues, which can include having attention deficit disorder or having associated attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which can and often does impede these individuals' ability to focus and to accomplish tasks. This includes self-important tasks, as well as a false state of superiority that many N.P.Ds suffer from, that do not allow those narcissists and to not accept their own fault or assume responsibility, but also to recognize that their true states of being, that is, that they are narcissists, are flawed. That's a flawed state that they cannot accept when they have narcissistic personality disorder or bipolar disorder diagnosis. These are the states that affect them and disallow them to actually recognize what's going on with them. Thusly, N.P.Ds and B.P.Ds have little regulatory capacity to effectively control their states of being in day-to-day life. This, however, can be made an exception for in the case of much higher intelligence N.P.Ds, especially ones with higher IQ scores, because these individuals are often self-aware. A good example of a person or a narcissist with a higher IQ that can regulate themselves effectively is the narcissist and narcissistic expert H.G. Tudor. H.G. Tudor is fully aware of himself and what he is, that he's a narcissist and the things that basically affect him. But because he is highly intelligent, has a very high IQ score, he is able to regulate himself very effectively. But most narcissists of a mid-level or lower level, with a lower degree of intelligence or a lower degree of just basic street smarts or whatever, they're not able to do this as easily as somebody who is self-aware to a higher degree. But most N.P.Ds and B.P.Ds are not capable of regulating themselves or controlling their chaotic states of mind or statuses of being. And this is where the constant state of need for fuel or attention or outside interaction comes into play. In NPDs and BPDs, there is a constant need to be occupied or amused, or the mind goes to a place that it should not go to. We've talked about narcissist minds and bipolar disorder minds in the past, and the factor that these individuals, because of their personality disorders, they require that their minds be occupied almost constantly, or their minds return or go to a place that is unhealthy, or an unhealthy thought status for them. This is why NPDs, and more often than not BPDs, need constant stimuli, and why this distraction is sought out to be extracted from those individuals around these sufferers. The NPD and BPD and borderline are the NPD, BPD, and borderline and several other personality disorder sufferers all seek this balance and regulation from their surrounding individuals, because they cannot find this regulation within themselves due to their mental states. As we have discussed in previous episodes on the N.A.R.C.N network, bipolar disorder sufferers, narcissistic personality disorder sufferers, borderline disorder sufferers, we can just go down the list of personality disorders, but commonly with NPDs, BPDs, borderlines, and histrionic personality disorder sufferers as well too, we can include in there. Their regulatory ability to keep control of their states, their mind states, or where their mind is going, or how their mind is thinking, is not a very high order in them. That's not to say that everyone is like this. There's probably exceptions to these rules. As I've stated earlier in this video, higher thinking or higher intelligence level narcissists and BPD sufferers may be able to do these things with more ease than mid-levels are. But again, there's an exception to every particular instance here. Not everybody is the same, even though narcissistic personality disorder sufferers and bipolar disorder sufferers and some other narcissistic personality disorder types all seem to function more or less the same way. It's just a basic ability for them to regulate themselves and regulate their status of being is compromised in a very negative way for these individuals, and thusly this is why they find it so difficult to get control of themselves and get control of their thought processes. They're always trying to do this and trying to seek out some type of assistance. I come into a lot of contact with people who are not only sufferers of narcissistic personality abuse from narcissists, but I have some narcissists on my network as well too who actually contact me, and I have talked to quite extensively, and I know their sides from both sides of the coin here, like this, as to what happens with not only the victims but what happens with the narcissists themselves. So this was the basic thing I wanted to talk about here in episode 161, was just to talk about NPDs and BPDs and that inability for them to regulate, being a cry out for help from the victims and the appliances that are around them, because that's what they seek to do, is they seek some of that balance from the individuals that they are dealing with. So this has been episode 161. I just want to say to you guys, please stay tuned for some other content coming up on the N.A.R.C.N network and on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. I'm going to have new content coming up very soon as well. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you really soon.